Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Tenchi Muyo GXP Paradise Starting Episode 3. Funny story, I did not plan on watching this today, and I didn't plan on recording it today either. But we have lost all power where I live, and so it just seemed like a good time to get it done. It's the Saturday before I'm uploading this, so I needed to get it done. I've just been putting it off, like I have a lot of things lately, but not now. I'm forced to do it. And first impression of the episode, boy, was it terrible. I do not like Jovia, and the first half of this episode was just about her screwing around on Earth. I don't care. I find her annoying. I don't want anything to do with her. Like, since OVA 5, is that when she started getting introduced in the anime? I don't like her. And they keep throwing her in our face, and I hate it. Like, I have no notes on the whole first half of this episode, because it's just Jovia running around Japan, running around her hometown. That's my first note. Jovia visiting her hometown. There's a character named Mireille, who is a friend of hers from before she died and then reincarnated on. What is the planet? Renza? Is that the name of the planet? I don't remember. But so we meet her friend, we meet her mom. That's it. That's the whole first half of the episode. It's dragged on so long and it serves no purpose. It feels like padding. So the first half of this episode was hell. I did not like it at all. Second half, we finally get something actual, like something I want to see. So Jovia screwed up and accidentally let friends and family know that she has reincarnated. Whatever. Seto is using that as she should to sort of make plays, right? She is setting her sights on Jovia's friend Mireille, who is from like a. She's important. She has like the big mansion. She's like very traditional Japanese clothes, so she's big money. So Seto's going to use that and sort of try and get some connections for this Masaki Village, Seina's big grocery store thing, right? More places they can ship off the food and stuff that they're farming. So that's great. It doesn't make the first half of this episode worth it, but I'm glad it has an actual payoff to it other than just, for some reason, they're obsessed with Jovia. So we also get word that the base that Tabletop Island, which is their building, has completed, and it's going to take a year to sort of get everything up and running. And so Seina and all the girls that are with them are going to what is soon to be Tabletop Island, and they're going to spend the next year working on it. So what do I have here? 1 year to build the island. Okay. The base for Tabletop Island is a base class mothership. It's got a third gen royal tree in it that isn't bonded to anybody, so it's just chilling out for now. And this is just an assumption. We'll see if it happens. This royal tree doesn't have anybody it's connected with. I want to assume it's going to be something where like the main character from Paradise War actually ends up linking up with it. Maybe we'll see. That's just a prediction. I don't really know much about Paradise War, other than like what we saw in OVA 5, and then I've seen like all the illustrations from the novel, but I don't really know any information about it. So what is her name? Kuis. She's from the GXP novels. I'm not really familiar with her. There's so many characters in those GXP novels, so I'm trying to think. I'm wondering if she is the one that is like Seto's like doppelganger, who like dresses up like Seto when Seto isn't around, so people think she's around, or like something like that. There's a character like that, and I'm not sure if that's what Kuis is, but anyway, Seina, everybody, they get to Tabletop Island. They meet Kuis, who is like in charge of the project, I guess, and then we get a little space battle. We don't get a lot. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. We see like a couple shots fired. We see some small ships trying to clamp onto Tabletop Island. We get mentioned that like I think Santa used his magic abilities to teleport the space station like away. So like they keep introducing the magic stuff in here, and it's throughout the episode we see it a little bit. We're like, we've seen it in the last few episodes too, like specifically when they're just putting items into like their special magic compartment to store things, right? The way they animate magic and stuff in this, it's not very flashy, so you like it's hard to tell what's going on sometimes. Like, yeah, an item shrinking, like that's magic, right? Because we know magic exists. But when the spaceship teleported, I just thought the spaceship teleported, and then they say, "Wow, you used your magic to teleport the ship away." It's like, okay, that could have been anything. There's nothing in that moment to signify to me, the viewer, that it was magic happening. So I think that's a bit of an issue. They need, well, they don't need, but like I would prefer if, like, just like a sparkle effect or something to make it look like magic. Um, so we get a little space battle, and we learn that Tabletop Island is basically bait for pirates to attack, and I forget exactly how they explained it in a previous episode, but the whole purpose of Tabletop Island is to take some of the pirate crews that are still running around and sort of build like a federation of some kind. And so this is a way to sort of weed out the bad ones who aren't going to play along. So they come to Tabletop Island to attack, they get wiped out, and then they don't participate. So we get that. The Tabletop Island, they end up settling right outside the moon, which is important for the cliffhanger we get here at the end. So we go to the moon, and then Jovia, of course, we're stuck with her, so she's here still, goes off into the ship to sort of settle down and, like, read manga and stuff. And then, ooh, there's a ghost. So Jovia runs back to the bridge where everybody's hanging out. And then we get, like, just some arguing back and forth for a minute. We get the introduction of Zimv. I think this is Zimv, like a human form. Again, I'm not familiar with the GXP novels. I've looked through like all the illustrations, so I know at one point Zimv gets a human form, I think. Well, I assume that's what it is, especially now. She talks, if she is Zimv, she talks in the first or in the third person, so it could be a little bit confusing. Maybe she is like a human representation of it, or maybe she is also talking about it like D is here. I'm not sure, but I think that's who that is. I think that is Zimv. And we see the ghost that was haunting Jovia. And who is it? It is Masaki. Who is Masaki? She is the sister of... Ooh, I didn't write down his name. Hold on, I've got the episode still pulled up. Maybe I can find it real quick. She is the sister of the first Emperor of Jirai, Jirai Shino. So I assume her name would be Jirai Masaki. And the reason I mentioned the moon is one of the only things I know about Masaki, and I don't remember where I heard it from. She's trapped on the moon, right? Like, she's bound to the moon or something like that. The only thing I know about Masaki is that she's trapped on the moon, and there is an image, really, really old, of Masaki and one of Tenchi's children. Not one of the ones that we saw in If, but like a son who... from like what I remember of seeing people speculate, people think it might be either Ryoko's or Washu's. But basically, Tenchi's son, if this ends up happening at some point in this series, Tenchi has a son who runs off to the moon and like gets with Masaki, I think is how it works out. All we have is that image, and then it's probably like mentioned briefly in one of the dojins that I haven't read. Anyway, that's the episode. First half was such a slog to get through. I really don't like Jovia. I find her annoying. I don't care at all about her visiting her hometown. That whole sequence was so drawn out, with constantly cutting back to her telling the story of how she got figured out, just so Tsukiko could like threaten her. And it dragged on too long. That whole first half was miserable for me. I don't like Jovia. Get her out of the show. Never put her in another show again. The second half is sort of what I've been waiting for, right? The subtitle of this, Paradise Starting, it's a prequel to Paradise War, and we're just really getting to that now. So it's going to take an island. It's going to take a year to get the island set, so I don't know how how long it's going to be. I don't know if next episode we're going to jump right to it. It's like, wow, a year's passed. Look at the island. And then they're show Jovia being friends with Masaki or something, right? I'm not sure. I don't know what the pacing is going to be for these last few episodes, because we're halfway through the season now. We have to see at least a glimpse of the Paradise War protagonist. There's characters in the OP we haven't seen yet. The little WoW girl. WoW? Is that what the dog people are called? I think that's right. We haven't seen her yet. We haven't seen the tree girl from one of the dojins that I don't remember. And there's probably a couple more characters, I think. But we haven't seen them. We haven't seen the protagonist of Paradise War yet, or any of the girls from Paradise War. And we also haven't seen, in the promotional image, we haven't seen, like, what I assume was the big villain of the season. We'll see if that's actually what that is. But there was, like, a shadowy figure in, like, the first promotional image released. And we haven't got really any hint of that. And the only real hint from, like, the OP I have is that there's a scene with Tsukiko, like, falling, almost, it looks like. Right towards the very end of the OP, there's this, like, it looks like Tsukiko's falling. Like, you know when something falls in the sky and there's, like, the fire around it as it's breaking, like, going through the atmosphere. It kind of looks like that to me. I don't think that's actually what's going to happen, but maybe Tsukiko gets, like, possessed or something. I don't know. But yeah, second half of this episode, pretty good. We got a little space fight. I would have liked a bit more, but I'll take what I get. Setting up Tabletop Island, this is what I've been waiting for the last couple episodes. Now that we're here for a year, that last episode feels way more sort of, like, pointless than it did at the time. Like, they spent all this time, like, all right, we're going to have to settle into Masaki Village, find a place for ourselves, and it's like, immediately it's like, okay, now we have to go to space again. I don't know. I'm not. So far, this OVA has been okay. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff that's unnecessary, like padding. Like, the whole. Again, all the Jovia stuff feels like padding. Now that we're going to space for a year, the bumbling around Masaki Village, like, picking vegetables and stuff, I don't really understand what the point of that was. Especially because we know Sena is going to be on Tabletop Island for a while. He's going to be overseeing things with basically all the girls that he has. So I don't really get what the point of that was now. Anyway, that's episode 3. Not the best episode of the season. But it looks like the ball is finally rolling. We're going to start getting to, hopefully, the meat and potatoes of this season. We got 3 episodes left. That's a good amount of time to really get moving along with this. I'm hoping we have Tabletop Island done by the end of next episode, right? But yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.